console in the cloud, pay as you play. When is it coming? Is it going to come?
I don't see why you don't do it. I mean, you think about Sony, you think about Nintendo. So much money. And the sky is the limit now. With all of, like, you've got Azure, you've got AWS, you've got Google Cloud, you've got so many cloud providers to where you can just stand up these services. And granted, I don't even think that a company like Sony or Nintendo would even leverage one of those. I think they'd probably build their own cloud services. But the concept being that you access this through a device on your network, not necessarily with a TV, or maybe it is with a TV. Maybe it's a controller and a fob that you just clip into the HDMI piece of the TV.
Yeah.
And then it works
like a Chromecast.
It works off of the network, so the actual processing is done, in the cloud. So it's basically PS5, except there's no PS5.
You eliminate the console.
Right. And all you need is the peripheral and the display.
So, they've done it before. They have, I think Amazon has one. I forget what it's called. And then Google had one that was the Google Stadia, where it was literally like a Chromecast you plug in the TV, and it had like a controller. I have it somewhere around here because they gave it free to like YouTube Plus or YouTube Premium members.
Right.
It closed because it didn't do well.
Yeah, and I think that's because Google doesn't know shit about making video games. I mean, they're a powerhouse, but I don't think they have the same leverage that Sony would have in that aspect as far as getting publishers or getting, these software companies to develop for that platform. And if they were smart about it, they would structure it so you could basically just lift your code right out of whatever PS5 game you're developing at the time, deploy it, and people can play that. But then you have, why am I going to buy a PS5 if I can do this?
Well, I think that's going to be the next milestone in like the gaming realm is finding a way to eliminate the console of like having the cost, because when you're getting a PS5, they're not making much money off of the PS5 when it comes down to brass tacks. It's still a cost, and you have to have the price, and then eventually you have these price drops and stuff. Like your money isn't coming from selling the PS5s. And if you can eliminate that cost altogether and just deliver these games from where you are in the world to where your customers are, that would be ideal for the gaming like market. And I don't know how close they are to doing that, to just eliminating the consoles altogether.
Well, and that's an interesting thing, and I'm trying to see if I can find a production estimate for PS5 because I'm curious. But, when you think about console in the cloud, cloud-based services are, a realization of software as a service, like Pro Tools. Pro Tools, you used to be able to pay, $800 one time. You could use it however long. Now it's $30 or $40 a month.
And same with like the Adobe stuff too. Is like you used to be able to buy it and you get the key and you'd have the rights to use it for however long you needed to use it. But now it's a subscription. Like everything is moving to those subscription services, no matter what it is.
And here's the thing: I have my copy of Pro Tools Empowered 8 way long ago.
I
paid $100 for it.
I had it through school.
Yeah. So I paid $100 for it. I used it for 8 years. Over 8 years, the total cost for that for me was $100.
Mm-hmm.
Today, to get the basic Pro Tools, aside from the free version, which if you use the free version, I invite you to try the lowest tier paid version because you could probably save what you spend in Excedrin just by that little bump.
Yeah.
But that's $15. $15 extrapolated over 8 years. 8 years is what? 80, 96 months. So we'll just round it up to 100 for figuring it out. $1,500 for Pro Tools Empowered.
Yeah.
Compared to 100. The company stands to just blow away margins.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at here is console in the cloud. You're going to be paying monthly or maybe even more granular than that for using it. You never truly own it. So in theory, the same thing that a PS5 does for $450 might actually net Sony, $1,500. And on top of that, they don't have to pay to produce that because up front they're paying to make these things.
Yeah.
Like they're not making them and then saying, "Oh, here, we'll figure it out."
Yeah, I think if I'm remembering correctly from when the PS5 first came out, they were like when numbers started coming out, they were actually losing money on production of PS5 or maybe I'm thinking of like when the PS3 came out. It was one of the consoles. I don't know if it was new or from like PS3 era because they had like this price that they needed to sell it for, but the Microsoft had the 360 and they were like no, and PS3 had to roll that back, and then they just took a huge hit. But the PS3 did eventually gain its ground and became a mainstay in everybody's household.
So because PS5 debuted COVID-ish,
Yeah.
the scarcity of components drove the production cost up beyond their original estimates
That makes sense.
to $450,
Okay.
roughly.
Yeah.
Meaning, at the time, they're saying it was at a loss. I digress. I'm pretty sure the initial PS5s were like $550. So where did that $100 go in your loss?
Well, I mean, you have to factor in like all of the labor costs to manufacture it and then to ship it and all of that stuff. Like when you put all of that into it, like, yeah, you're definitely losing money.
Never mind. It goes on. So the manufacturing costs include the labor and whatnot. The issue, they said they would break even on the $499 PS5, but the $399 digital version was where they were losing money.
That's weird.
Well, yeah, because the digital version doesn't have an optical drive. So you don't need that component.
Yeah.
You would think it would be a little cheaper, but I guess, when they do them, it didn't balance out that much. Either way.
Or there.
And I think that's an iteration thing. I think that if they do it, it's going to be the next generation. Like, they're like, oh, next console, PS6, isn't really a thing. We're doing this.
Yeah, that's tough. Because, I mean, I've streamed on the PS5 like a PS3 game or a PS4 game, like where it doesn't have the option to download it. You have to, like, stream it. It's the worst.
I'm glad you went there because that is the biggest hurdle is bandwidth. Getting that much data from point A to point B where it's consumable. Because you think about video games and response time on the controller, and
yeah,
if I only have a controller and it's processing, in a bunker 300 miles underneath the mountains in Northern Virginia, because that's where they hide stuff, that takes time. Like, electricity has to transfer, data has to transfer. It's not instant. So,
yeah. What's going on, Mort? Thanks for joining us here.
Hey, Mort.
Yeah, like, I think we've got a long way to go before they eliminate the console, and it's like the streaming games actually kind of makes it into like the mainstream, because like it's not, you have to. Even if they could shrink it somehow, if they could shrink it down to basically it's basically buying a hard drive that has internet capabilities where you can access an interface to download these games to store on this drive to then like play. It would be a lot better. Like the PlayStation Portal, for example. Like,
I was about to go there.
like, the PlayStation Portal is this device that streams from your PS5 to your handheld device.
And it can do it over Wi-Fi or cellular?
I'm not sure. I know it. I think your PS5 has to be through Wi-Fi, and I think you can be away from your house and be connected to another Wi-Fi and be able to access your PS5 to play these games. I think. I could be wrong.
So we'll look into that, but that right there is exactly why I don't think this is that far away. Because it's the same exact thing, except instead of the cloud being a server farm somewhere, it's everybody's own personal PS5.
So everybody's gripe with the Portal, from what I've seen, is they wish there was an option to a way to download and store at least one game.
Like a Steam Deck?
Like, it doesn't have to be as big of hard drive space for storage. Just let me access these games, even if I can access like PlayStation Plus games, and download them so I can take that device wherever I need to be, and I can play it without these interruptions, having to be connected to Wi-Fi, etc.
And there's that, bandwidth issue we talked about, the streaming problem.
Yeah.
Some of these games are like 80 gigs. So
not receiving
evidently
enough video
YouTube
to
has issues with
maintain
streaming as well.
Smooth streaming.
What do we do?
I don't know.
Is it working? Can you guys see us? Can someone say yes, this is working right, or no, this is dog shit?
Is the stream still up, or is it being interrupted? We just got a notice from YouTube here.
Yeah, because I'm frozen.
Oh no, we're not frozen. Wait, you're frozen, but I'm not frozen.
Oh, I just wasn't moving.
Oh, interesting. Can everybody see us still?
Nobody answering us, so I'm pretty sure we're not. Damn it, LJ! This is why we need to pay people to watch this shit. $5. Widget? Poor. Your stream status is poor. Check my phone. What am I checking my phone for? Oh. You froze. It's in and out. Stop it and kick it back on. Or reset the buffer packets. Oh, we're back to excellent. Look at that.
Oh, there we go. Look
Sorry
at
for the interruption.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're still trying to figure this out.
So do you have the Xfinity router?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's on Wi-Fi, not on wired?
No, we can wire it if we have to.
Where's the router?
Upstairs. I have an Ethernet cable that's capable of reaching that far.
We'll figure it out. As long as you have the router, I can make it work.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. We'll get this squared away. This is our first time. There's bound to be some issues.
Yeah, this is fun.
But yeah, like with back to like the streaming and stuff with the PlayStation Portal. Like the PlayStation Portal is an excellent idea because it, at least to me, because it caters to an issue that I have as a dad, as somebody who can't go down or doesn't even want to go down to their game room every night. Like sometimes I just want to lay on my couch.
Well, you're assuming everybody has a damn game room in their basement.
Well, their space, whatever it is. Me, I have my game room. Hey, it's just like a video game loading. Yeah, it's just like, having a little space to play, whatever. But with the PlayStation Portal, I can just have that up there and I can access the things down here and I can play. And then like with the Steam Deck, which I think caters to me a little bit more because I do have a Steam library of games that I could play and it stores them on the device. And it's more like if I wanted to take it, up to the cabin with me one time and be able to play, I barely get cell service up there, let alone streaming capabilities. Nor would I want streaming capabilities up there. That just takes away from the experience. I wouldn't want internet or streaming up there. We have a big cabinet of movies that we can pick from that just it's just better.
You got 2 cabinets.
I think they got rid of all those movies. But I think we're further away than you think to the thing. Now, the pay as you...
So how far you think we're away? Let's
think
just figure it out. I think we're probably 5 to 6 years.
that would be my guess. Is like 5 to 6 years before they could have something like that.
So I wasn't that far off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we'll find out in 5 or 6 years, but
Yeah.